I am Agent Harris from the Face of Debt Freedom. Guys, I have been debt free since 2014, December of 2014. The question of the day is, can you afford to travel? 9 times out of 10, if you are in debt, the answer to that question, I can tell you, is no. Most of us, when we are in debt, cannot truly afford to take the outlandish vacations that we typically take from year to year. Let's say maybe to Disney World or wherever you choose to travel. You probably 9 times out of 10 really cannot afford to take the trip, financially speaking. Do we make ends meet when we want to go somewhere? Yes. How many of you possibly can testify to the fact that you got into more debt to going on, in order to be able to go on a vacation? So this video really speaks to that. And just, it's vacation time. The kids are out of school. If you are an educator, you are out of work, and clearly you want to do something. You want to go out and have some fun. So I'm going to share some things that you guys can do tomorrow that's cost efficient. Not tomorrow, on Friday. That it's not gonna break the bank, not gonna put you further in debt, and yet you can still have a good time. So the question of the day is, can you really afford to travel? So it is summertime. It's that time of the year to get up, to get out, to go hang, to go to the beach, to just get out of your local city and do some things. But there are some good things probably going on in your local city that will help you on your journey to debt freedom. Now, one thing I want to reiterate on this particular video is that you've got to be honest with yourself. And if you have a family, you've got to be honest with your family, whether you be the mother, whether you be the father, whether you guys are coming at this as a team. You've got to be honest with everybody involved about your financial state, so that you guys as a family unit can make sound decisions for the family, especially if you've made up your mind to get out of debt. One of the hardest things about obtaining debt freedom is getting out of the mindset you had prior to making up your mind about getting out of debt, and then of course getting everyone around you to make that shift. I truly was blessed along the way. The more I said no, the more people realized how serious I was from a personal stance on getting out of debt, and that truly helped me stay focused on what I was trying to do. And then the people eventually came on board with me, my family, my friends. The more I said no, well, no, I can't do that, or yes, I can go, but can we go eat at this place because I only have such and such amount of money? I would say no, like, hey, that's not in my budget, I can't afford that this month. And they were like, well, hey, come on and go anyway. We'll pay for it, or I'll pay for it. So the more you stand firm in your decision to buckle down, to get out of debt, to stick with your spending plan, or your budget, whichever terminology you desire to use, the more you stick with it, guys, I promise you, people are going to come on board with you to help you get out of debt. And that's an exciting experience to see that transition, one for yourself, and then 2 for the people around you. But that takes you being honest with you to say, hey, I can't afford it. So what does that have to do with vacation time? Again, most of us cannot afford to take the outlandish vacations that we typically take over the summer because we are in that debt. And again, if you go check your vacation expenses, you may not even have a set amount of money set aside specifically for vacations. You just go sometimes, not everybody. Okay, so this isn't a blanket and y'all message. If it applies to you, take what you need. If it doesn't, of course, guys, leave it on the table. But typically people don't necessarily set aside vacation money, and so they get into debt going on vacations. They'll charge food, we'll charge hotel rooms, we'll charge to go to Disney World, Disneyland, the Bahamas, the Dominican Republic. And guys, is charging wrong? No. The way credit should work is you should have enough money in your account to pay for whatever you charge that next go round, that next month. I've even done it where I've charged something and paid for the bill, at that time. Like, hey, let me pay this right off. You shouldn't charge things you don't have enough money to cover it. And the same thing goes with vacation. If you don't have that amount of money set aside in your savings or wherever you keep your extra money for adventures like this, for summer vacation adventures, then honestly, you probably cannot afford to take the vacation you are planning. And so I just want to put that out there for you. And then I just want to share a quick testimony. It doesn't necessarily have to do with vacation, but it came to mind when I was thinking about accountability, from a parental standpoint. I am not a parent. I don't have kids. I don't know the weight of what it feels like to have to tell my kids, no, we can't go here, or no, mommy can't afford it. But I can attest to the fact that my mom was very, very honest with us when it was time to go to school. When it was time for us to go to college, and mind you guys, there are 4 of us. Matter of fact, the girls were back to back to back in school. We were 9th, 10th, 11th grade, 11th, 12th, first year in college. Matter of fact, we were all in college at one time, at one point. And my mom was very, very honest with us. She said, hey, she sat us down. She said, look, this is how much I can afford to help you guys with college. You got to go somewhere I can afford to help you. If you go outside of the boundaries of my help, I'm telling you now, I won't be of much assistance to you. Her words, not her exact words. Clearly, that was years ago at this point when she told us that. And what it made us do as kids, then we prepared to, either fit into the amount that she gave us, or the requirements and stipulations that she gave us, or we looked for scholarships and did what we had to do on that end, because she said, hey, I have XYZ amount of money to assist you guys, to help you guys in your adventure, in your next, stage of your life, to go off to school, and this is all I can do. And guys, that honesty, I believe, has helped at least me personally and my siblings not have as much debt, because we end up having to go to local schools. We applied to various schools, but they weren't offering enough scholarship money. And we are going to get into scholarships here on this particular channel, this page, this group, about why it is so important to take the time out to dig for those scholarships. But I'm telling you that particular testimony for one reason. My mother was honest with us. She was honest with us about what she could afford. And so our expectations on her and even ourselves were within that realm of financial a financial state she could afford to help us with. And when I say she, I'm talking about my dad as well. My parents are still married, so when I referring to her, is what they could afford as our parents. College, and I'm sharing that information with you guys for just one simple reason: because she set those boundaries for us, then we knew how to plan. So the same for you as you are making preparations for your family vacation, or even if you're single and you're going on vacation on your own, then you've got to be honest with yourself and say, hey, this is what I can afford, this is what I cannot afford. What can I do within these financial realms? And guys, I promise you, you may not see the benefit of that right now. You may not even want to do it right now. I'm just putting it out there for your listening ears that in the long run, it is going to help you to obtain that debt freedom that you are hoping for, that you are striving for, that you and your family are hoping for. I have got into contact with people, or people have contacted me, and they have kids, they have husbands, they have families, and I know that is a bugaboo when you're trying to get everybody on board. But the more honest you are with yourselves and everybody involved, including the kids, about what you're trying to do, and just walk them through what you're trying to do instead of just kind of, I guess, doing it without them, then I think you'll have a better response. I can attest to having a better response to, the choices I did have. I didn't see the fact when my mom was sharing with us what she could, or what my parents could not afford. I didn't see the bad in that. I look for the best options within those means. And guys, I absolutely loved my university. I had an awesome experience at Georgia Southwestern State University, and I don't know where I honestly would be, spiritually, even, I don't even want to think about you know, the implications of me having gone somewhere else. Americans was good to me. My PWI was good to me. My mother's advice and her wisdom and her honesty with us about, you know, what she could afford, what my dad could afford, what they could afford as our parents, that really, really paid off for me. So that's the point of this video. You've got really afford to take the summer vacation you have planned, and if you cannot, what are you going to do about it? So on Friday, I'm going to offer you some tips on what you can do about not being able to afford the vacation you have planned, but you still want to do something with your kids. You still want to do something for you. If you are an educator, I know the way of just getting to the end of a school year. You like, I've got to get away. You want to get away from the city. You want to get away from the job. You want to get away from the kids. You want to get away from your coworkers. You just want to get away. And I have some solutions for you. I have some tips and some strategies and some methods for you that will help you do that within your financial means. Guys, budgeting is not bad. Having a spending plan is not bad. It just gives you boundaries based off what you owe and based off what you need to do, your needs and your wants. I had a pretty good time, and I say pretty good because I'm not quite sure I implemented everything right as it relates to a spending plan. I can be an extremist at times on the side of, like, I cut my cable off. You know, I did some stuff like that, which I know everybody may or may not be able to do. I'm not married. I don't have kids, so I didn't have that pressure and that weight, you know, that I'm sure and I know some of you have as it relates to some of the things I'm talking about. But again, it does just take being honest with everybody involved so that they feel as if they have a voice. And I learned that even on my debt freedom journey. When I let my mother know what I was doing, when I let my sisters know what I was doing, when I let my friends know, hey, I'm trying to get out of debt, then it made it easier for all of us to help me get out of debt. You know, it takes a village to do that too. So I am here for you guys. I will be back on Friday with some more financial tips on how you can afford a vacation and a good time on a budget, on a spending plan without going further into debt at the expense of having a good time now and having to pay for it later. So much for tuning in, guys. Don't feel bad if you can't afford that vacation you had planned. I'm going to provide for you some things you can do on Friday that you will still be able to have fun. You will still be able to get on here on social media in your two-piece bathing suit, showing everybody that you had a good time, but you will also be able to brag that you did it within your financial means and you are well on your way to being debt-free. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am Agent Harris, your financial accountability coach. Guys, I've been debt-free since 2014, so I have a little weight in this area. I will see you guys on Friday. Thanks for watching.